Why are the Chinese people there? Why are the Indian people there? Why are the Syrian people there? Why are the Lebanese people there? And mind you, all these categories of ethnic groups that I've just mentioned are prospering. So it even begs the question, why do some African Americans go and do not prosper?
One thing, they grow as a group and they go with money. But secondly, there's also a prejudice in the motherland too. White is right.
Hit the link in the upper corner to get caught up with part 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. And you don't really have to even be there. You can be an advocate of the continent and not necessarily be there. You understand? You have a lot of Ghanaians abroad who are the fulcrum or the bedrock of the economy back home through the remittances that they send to their relatives back home. They are not in Ghana, but look at the difference that they are making. You can be an advocate by being on social media and doing what you do, maybe even conducting interviews like this with people who project a positive image of the continent. That is still being an advocate. The most important thing is to have an emotional interest in Africa as a Black person.
That was so good, because emotions, you have to have emotions to get people's money. Let me tell you, let's be honest. Because if there's nothing else to base it on, you have to tap into the emotions. Yeah. You have to be emotionally connected, because who was I talking to? I forgot his name, but he said he knew what I was going to say. After I told him my story, he was like, you're going to say, why do I need to be here? And I'm like, exactly. Why do I need to be in Ghana? Because there's no emotional connection for me to be there. So that's why I came back. So when you said you have to have an emotional connection, you have to have an emotional connection to deal with what you're about to deal with. And if there is no emotional connection, you're not going to stay. Right? Because a lot of people are either religious and they believe God is telling them to be there, or they have businesses that are flourishing now, right? Or they were just willing to gamble a lot of their money away until they flourished. And so for some of us that don't have an opportunity to waste money and lose money, why would we stay there if there is no emotional connection?
The emotional connection, I believe, is more organic than scientific. You came into being by virtue of the fact that somebody existed in Africa. A white person came into being by virtue of the fact that maybe, I don't know, people in Europe or the Neanderthals were who they were.
No.
So your identity,
Africa. They came from Africa too. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Your identity doesn't start from America. Your identity starts from Africa. Okay. Even if you were born in New York and your parents were New Yorkers and their grandparents were New Yorkers as well, but if you take it far enough, if you take it as far as you can possibly take it, you end up in Africa. Yes. And that should be the basis of your emotional connection. The fact that your being is incomplete if you limit it to America.
I disagree with that, but I am from 100%. I'm 100% Sierra Leonean from the Mende tribe, and yeah, and I was emotionally connected until I wasn't. So that, to me, that's not enough, and it wasn't enough. That's why I'm not there. But I do see what you're saying. It's
the fact that you even said what you said that you are 100%. I don't even. What's the tribe again?
Oh, Sierra Leone Mende tribe?
Exactly. The fact that you just said what you said is enough. Because if you are walking on the streets of Los Angeles and you come across a Black homeless person and the person says that I am Mendy from Sierra Leone, what would your reaction be?
Oh, my ancestors are there too. That's what my heritage is.
Yes. Wouldn't you feel some kind of kindred spirit with that homeless person?
At the moment, yes, but I wouldn't feel like an eternal, like, oh, you're my brother, you're my sister. It's a fact that we came from the descendant of the same
Yeah, but
thing.
there'll be a connection. There'll be a connection because we are both from the same ethnicity. If you meet a white person who tells you that my ancestors were Vikings from Norway, what do I have in common with you? But if you meet a homeless person who says that I am Mendy, at least you know that, oh, I have that kind of connection with this individual, even though we are both strangers.
Yes.
There is an automatic link between the two of you. And that is the significance of the journey that you undertook. By finding out who you really are. That is the beginning of even coming up with an authentic identity. It's the beginning of a certain insight which that person who doesn't have your identity is not having. It's the beginning of you, your struggles, how you should struggle. The kind of social cloud that you must have in America. All of these things are based on where you know you are coming from. It's very, very, very important. That person who doesn't have that kind of insight, in a way, is lost. Because imagine if you see somebody who is Mendy, who is suffering, or even somebody who is Mendy comes into your life, and that person knows that, oh, we have this thing in common, so I'll be willing to give you $500 million because I'm a successful Mendy, and this is a Black American Mendy, and I'm comfortable investing in your business. That is how your heritage has even led to financial affluence. I don't know if I'm being obscure here.
No, I mean, it's understandable what you're saying. I just don't agree that I'm lost or I'm incomplete if I don't know that history. But what you're saying,
in my personal estimation, this is my opinion, this is my point of view.
Yeah.
You know, I think you are. I don't want to use the word lost, but I want to use a word like incomplete. Because I know that I'm Ashanti. I know that I'm from Bumri, which is part of the Ashanti region. I know that I came into being because some human beings existed in that part of Ghana. All right? If you trace your heritage back to your origins in America, you have to realize that there is a history beyond that. Now, aren't you interested in the history that lies beyond your Afro-American heritage?
Well, yeah, that's why I did the DNA test. Now I know.
Exactly. So you've done well. You have done well. You don't even need to go beyond what you've done. The mere fact that you took that kind of curiosity is a good enough compliment. Because as you sit there, you now know that you are Mendy from Sierra Leone, and you even have, I believe, Sierra Leone nationality, right?
Yeah, I can go get my citizenship if I wanted to.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing. So you know your history beyond America.
Right.
That person who doesn't know his history beyond America is in a way very vulnerable. You know, heaven forbid. But if there is, heaven forbid, I'm not saying that this can happen, but anything can happen under the sun. Let's say that there is some catastrophe in America and you need to relocate. You can even go back to Africa and go to Sierra Leone because you say that, yes, not only am I a citizen, but I'm a Mendy. But that person who doesn't know his or her history beyond America, where would that person go?
Yeah, Ghana.
Fine.
Gotta take everybody.
Fine, you go to Ghana. But that person who knows that I am Black American and I'm Ashanti can go integrate into the Akan society easily because these are my people. But you go there, I'm just Ghana. But people will say, oh, now you are Ghanaian, huh? Because there is problem in your country, now you identify as Ghanaian. You understand what I mean? I mean, these are far-fetched scenarios, but it's to show you the import of what you've done. So I commend you for doing what you did, you know, for making that kind of research and looking into that part of your identity.
Yes. I would say missing. The people that don't have that have something missing, but they can still be, you know, a whole well-rounded person. Yeah. But I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah. Because I do feel good when I can say Mende tribe.
Yes. And sometimes it's not even, it can even explain even, I don't know, certain habits that you have. There is something called
epigenetics.
It's not genetics. The word is escaping me when I need it the most. Atavism. Atavism. No, Atavism. Atavism.
Okay, never heard of that word before.
Atavism. Atavism is behaving like your ancestors. All right. Negro spirituals and all of these things are the way people behave on the motherland. Okay. Even rap music and so on and so forth can be traced back to the musical nature of African people. The rhythm in us and all of those things can be traced back to the musical nature of Black people. Athleticism, the way that we produce great boxers, great athletes, and so on and so forth, because Black people on the motherland are athletic and strong by nature. That is atavism, behaving like your ancestors. All right. You can find yourself behaving in a certain way. Then you realize that, oh, I behave like this because this is how my Mendi tribe in Sierra Leone, this is how they do their things. I like this kind of food because, well, even though it's not an American dish, it's an African dish. And the taste that I have is based on my African heritage, not my American background. It's all part of the identity process. And you never know. Maybe you will have children who will decide that I don't even want to be American. I want to go and live with my Mendi people because my mom was Mendi. And I'll rather be with them than even be with the people here.
All right. No, I hear you. It makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
No, I hear it.
So it serves so many purposes in your life.
So last question. Second to last question. If there is no emotional connection, is there no other connection that's strong enough to keep us, you know what I mean?
It can be strategic. The Western world has kept a strategic connection to Africa. And what do I mean by the strategic connection? Exploitation, benefiting from our resources, even sometimes using Africans from their colonies to fight their wars. That is a strategic connection,
So what you're saying is when it's emotional, it's more ethical and it comes from a place of love and understanding. I see what you're saying now. And that emotional connection will have you do people right. And if it's more strategic, now you're just into using, exploiting, mistreating. So that's the connection you're talking about. It just hit me right now. Yeah, it just hit me.
And you can be a Black American and still have a connection to Africa that is exclusively strategic. Maybe you don't even care about the emotional things and the heritage and those things that we are talking about, but you recognize the utility of the continent because of the resources that it has, because it has a very young population, because the people there are who they are. There is a huge population there which you can tap into. And there are returnees in Africa as I speak to you who are probably not there because of that emotional stuff that I was talking about, but are there exclusively for strategic purposes. Why are the Chinese people there? Why are the Indian people there? Why are the Syrian people there? Why are the Lebanese people there? And mind you, all these categories of ethnic groups that I've just mentioned are prospering. So it even begs the question, why do some African Americans go and do not prosper? Because all these ethnic groups that I've just mentioned, the Chinese, the Lebanese, the Syrians, they're all doing very well.
One thing, they grow as a group and they go with money because we're so individualized, right? And okay, that's number one in my opinion. They're strategic. It's not emotional, Diplomat William. A lot of us are moving in emotion and individuality. All these other groups is like, nah, we're coming with strategic because we're not emotional. We don't have rose-colored glasses, right? We're coming over there to do what we got to do to benefit our country. Now, we're coming over there emotional, with 400-year trauma and the mindset of individuality. Bam, we get messed up, right? But if we were to take on that, unity mindset and strategic mindset, it would be different. But secondly, there's also a prejudice in the motherland too. White is right. Okay? If a white woman did what I did the last 4 years, she would have been viral. The first Coconut Hut video, she would have went viral. Okay? Because there is a difference. People just still love the culture of blackness, right? But if they could make their skin white or light or something else, they would in a heartbeat, right? Because that's the system.
Well,
so I
okay, fine.
Colorism is still strong in Ghana, and they respect other ethnicities more than themselves. And that's what I've personally witnessed. I've witnessed the group economics of other ethnic groups, and I've witnessed the almost idolatry of them being non-Black as well in Ghana. I don't know if you want to touch on that, but colorism is real, self-hatred is real, and I've seen in front of my face white people be respected right in front of me, and I had to pay for something that they didn't have to pay for just because they're white, and other things too, but I know that was a lot.
Yeah, well, let me just address that briefly. If you were to speak Tree, you know the Tree language, right? Let's say you were to speak Swahili or Wolof, which is an African dialect. Which one do you think will be more intriguing? You speaking Wolof or a white person speaking Wolof?
A white person, for sure.
Exactly. So if a white person goes to live in a hut in Africa, that obviously is more dramatic than a Black person living in a hut in Africa. I mean, you are amongst your own, you're amongst your own kind. But a white person, being the minority and leaving Europe to go and live in Africa and live in a hut, that obviously makes for a more intriguing story than a Black person doing the same. But of course, I'm not going to rule out some of the things that you said, the element of colorism and so on and so forth. But with regard to emotion and strategy, maybe what we need is a proper combination of both.
Yeah, you confirmed everything I just said, and I love that. Yeah, that would be great if we did both, because that comes from a different place from the heart. But even if you don't have the emotional connection strategy, you better have a strategy, folks. Because if you don't have emotion and you don't have strategy, I don't know, you're a visitor. You're visiting, you're touring the motherland. You're not doing business. Yeah. So Diplomat William, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything you wanted to close out with saying? Because the whole reason we did this was when you sent me that video, you said Africa needs to do better for the Black Americans so they have a place to come back and live and be at peace. So is there anything you want to, resolve this discussion with?
Oh, just that, we need to unite. There's a lot of hope, a lot of prospects for the African continent. We shouldn't give up. We must have that emotional and that strategic interest in Africa because the future is bright and it's an experience that is worth pursuing.
All right, folks, you heard it here from the words of the Ghanaian diplomat William Manful. First of all, I want to thank you for everything you have done for me. For those that don't know the story, he helped me at the beginning of all my land issues and has been such a strategic example of, what Ghana is becoming. You have showed diplomat experience and grace and appreciation to us, us that are coming back. You have been the epitome of what it should look like, and I thank you for that, because I would not be where I was without you and the Ghanaian people and the YouTube community. So thank all of you guys. As we, how can I say this? Like you said, there's still hope. I'm not totally out the gate. So I'll be doing some updates regarding my land. Well, the beachfront, the first one, scam in a handbag. But the beachfront land, there's still hope for that. But if you don't know, Diplomat William has been key to me going to the Jubilee House, twice, me meeting with Iyoko, right? Without him, that wouldn't have happened. And without him, I wouldn't have the knowledge I have to share with you guys. So thank you so much for being part of the Small But Mighty crew, Diplomat Manful. And when will you be headed back to Ghana?
The duration of my mandate is 4 years. So
wow.
It comes to an end in 2029. Needless to say that I would want to visit Ghana before the whole duty tour is over. But for now, I don't think I'm going to Ghana until the earliest I'll be in Ghana will probably be December.
Oh, okay. Daddy December.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And folks, like, share, subscribe. Hey, soak this channel in, especially those that want to visit, repatriate, or do business in the motherland. You really want to subscribe and join the Small But Mighty crew. Join my newsletter, link in the description box, and I'll see you guys next time.
Join our free newsletter for land updates, group trips, and international real estate connections. Link in the description box.
Now available, ebooks and e-workbooks to mentally and emotionally prepare you to visit, repatriate, or buy land in the motherland. And the authentic handmade kente cloth I got from Kumasi, Ghana is now a home decor line made by yours truly. Get a piece of the motherland until you can visit yourself. Click the link in the description box to visit my store.